The red carpet outside the Thorn Hotel is still wet from a winter drizzle when Claire Weiland steps through the revolving doors. A reporter spots the ankle monitor scar line above her boot and shouts a question she cannot answer with a smile. Security starts to move toward her, too late, because the lobby has already turned to look. Noah. Claire says his name like it is the last thread holding her upright. Noah Thorne stands at the base of the grand staircase, tuxedo perfect, hair perfect, ring box in his palm like a trophy. Beside him, Scarlett Hunter wears a white dress that costs more than Claire's entire prison commissary history. Scarlett's hand is looped through Noah's arm, intimate, possessive, practiced. "You made it," Noah says, voice smooth, eyes colder than the marble floor. He does not hug her. He does not even pretend. Claire takes one step forward, then another, knees tight from 5 years of concrete. Her breath tastes like metal. She watches Noah's fingers, the same fingers that once braided her hair on a cheap couch, now sliding a diamond onto the wrong hand. "What is this?" Claire asks. Noah flicks a thick card toward her. It hits her cheek, stings, and drops to the floor like trash. The lobby gasps, phones rise, flashes bloom. Claire bends slowly and picks it up. Gold letters glow under the chandelier. "Engagement celebration." She reads. She flips it open, and the message inside is handwritten in black ink. "Thank you for clearing the road for us. Those 5 years must have been hard. Now it is our turn to be happy." Her fingers shake, not from fear, from restraint. 5 years of swallowing anger, 5 years of keeping her face blank so guards would not smell weakness. She hears the cell door slam again in her mind. She hears the promise again, whispered into her ear through a visitor booth phone. "Wait for me. When you get out, I will marry you." Scarlett leans closer, perfume sweet and sharp. "You are still so naive, Claire," she says, smiling for the cameras. "Did you really think he would ruin his life for you? You did what you were good at. You sacrificed. You disappeared." Claire lifts her gaze. Scarlett's eyes glitter. Noah's mouth holds a faint curve, not joy, not guilt, just contempt. "I did not disappear," Claire says. "I survived." Noah chuckles. "Do not be dramatic," he says. "You had a roof, 3 meals, free time to reflect. I gave you a chance to prove you loved me." Claire feels her throat tighten. She sees her mother turning away in court, convinced Claire had betrayed the family. She sees her scholarship letter shredded in a jail intake bin. She sees bruises she hid under long sleeves. She looks at the hotel staff, at the guests in gowns, at the towering portrait of the Thorne family patriarch on the wall. This building is their temple. This is where they celebrate power. They chose this place to crush her, on purpose, in public, so she would never raise her head again. Claire folds the invitation once, neatly, as if she is storing it in her pocket for later. Her voice comes out calm, which surprises even her. "Noah, you promised," she says. Noah takes a slow sip from his champagne flute. "You believed me," he says and shrugs. "That was your mistake." Scarlett laughs softly. "Do you want to congratulate us?" she asks. "Or do you want to cry? Either way, make it quick. You are ruining my photos." Claire steps forward until she is close enough to see a tiny freckle on Scarlett's collarbone. Close enough to smell Noah's expensive cologne. Close enough to feel the heat of their satisfaction. She raises the invitation, then tears it in half. The rip is loud, a clean, violent sound that cuts through the lobby chatter. She tears it again. And again. Gold flakes drift down like dead confetti. Noah's eyes flash. "Are you insane?" he snaps. Claire lets the pieces fall. She meets his stare and speaks softly, so only he and Scarlett can hear. "You took 5 years from me," she says. "My youth, my family, my future." Her lips curve, not kind. "I am going to take everything you have, and I am going to do it while you watch." Scarlett's smile slips for the first time. Noah's jaw tightens. "Security." Noah barks. 2 guards move in. Claire does not run. She turns, walks toward the exit, shoulders straight, and the cameras follow her like hungry dogs. Outside, cold air slaps her face. She stands under the hotel awning and watches the lobby through glass. Inside, Noah and Scarlett cling to their image, smiling again, forcing the party to continue. Claire pulls a battered phone from her pocket. A single number is saved on it. A lawyer she wrote to from prison, a man who answered when no one else did. She hits call. Ethan Cole. A voice says, crisp, awake. It is Claire Weiland. She says, I am out. Her eyes stay on the glowing hotel. And I just got my invitation. There is a pause. Then, are you ready? Ethan asks. Claire breathes in slow. Yes. She says. Tell me where to start. Ethan Cole's office is not in a glass tower. It is tucked above a bookstore in Midtown, quiet, hidden, safe. Claire sits across from him at a scarred wooden desk, hands wrapped around a paper cup of coffee she cannot taste. Ethan is younger than she expected, early 30s, suit plain, eyes sharp. He slides a thick file toward her. I pulled everything I could. He says. Your trial transcripts, evidence logs, bank records, the plea deal they pressured you into. He watches her carefully. You did not just lose a case. You were arranged. Claire opens the folder. The first page is a photo of her in court, hair pulled back, face hollow, staring at the judge. She remembers the prosecutor's smile, the way the jury looked at her like she was already guilty. They said it was clean. Claire whispers. They said if I confessed, Noah would be safe. They said he would take care of my mother. Ethan taps the file. They lied. He says. Look at this. He points to a signature line on a sworn statement from a key witness, a former accountant. The date is the day after the alleged fraud scheme began. This witness could not have known the details yet. Ethan says. It is too early. The story was written before the crime was even discovered. He flips to another page, a bank transfer chart. These transfers moved through shell companies. The paper trail points to you, but the money ends at accounts tied to Thorne Group leadership. Claire's stomach turns. Noah's family. She says. Ethan nods. And Scarlett's father sits on a regulatory board. That explains the speed, the pressure, the judge assignment. He leans back. I believe you took the fall, but belief does not reopen a case. Evidence does. Claire stares at the charts. She has dreamed of this moment, but now that she sees it, the truth is worse than she imagined. Noah did not panic and beg her to help. He planned it. They planned it. They shaped her love into a weapon and aimed it at her own throat. What can we prove? Claire asks. Ethan slides another document across. A printout of a prison email log, messages Claire sent to herself through a legal request system. During her sentence, she filed motions, requested records, asked questions that guards mocked her for. You kept digging. Ethan says, impressed. You found names. You found the vendor list for the fake audit. He pauses. You also left a note in here. You wrote, I am not in prison. I am in training. Claire looks at the note in her own handwriting. Her throat tightens. She remembers reading law books under a bunk light. She remembers building mental maps, not just of people, but of motives. In prison, you learn patterns or you break. She closes the file. Her voice is steady. I want them charged. She says. For everything. Fraud, conspiracy, perjury, coercion, obstruction. She inhales. And I want my name cleared. Ethan nods once. Then we need leverage. He says. Public pressure, internal witnesses, money trails that cannot be denied. He stands and moves to a whiteboard. He writes names in thick marker. Noah Thorne. Scarlett Hunter. Thorne Group. Hunter Family Trust. Then he draws a line to one more name. Miles Denton. Who is that? Claire asks. Ethan caps the marker. The accountant who vanished right before your arraignment. He says. He was the only person who could have testified about the false ledgers. He looks at Claire. If we find him, we break the story open. Claire's heartbeat changes. It is no longer hurt. It is strategy. I can find him. She says. Ethan studies her. You have been out for one day. He says. You do not even have stable housing. Claire almost smiles. I had unstable housing for 5 years. She replies. I had unstable food, unstable safety. She leans forward. I have one stable thing now. What? Ethan asks. Claire's eyes are flat, focused. My anger. She says. And it does not get tired. Ethan nods, accepting it like a fact. All right. He says. We move fast. Tomorrow the engagement party turns into a photo spread. They will try to bury you under their joy. He slides a burner phone across the desk. This is for you. No tracking, no recorded calls. Claire takes it. The weight is light, but it feels like a key. Outside the window, New York roars, indifferent. Inside, Claire makes her first choice as a free woman. She does not go home. She does not beg. She does not cry in a shower until the water runs cold. She opens the file again and memorizes every line that hurts. Then she starts making calls. Noah throws his engagement party like he throws everything, loud, polished, cruel. The next night, the Thorn Hotel ballroom glows with crystal lights and soft music. A banner with their names hangs above the stage. Sponsors and politicians smile for photos. A gossip blogger posts, the golden couple returns. Claire is not invited. That is the point. So she arrives anyway, not in the ballroom, but in the invisible places that keep the ballroom alive. At the service entrance, she wears a catering jacket and a plain black cap. Her hair is tucked away. Her face is calm. People see what they expect to see. A worker. A nobody. A kitchen manager barks orders. Trays move. Champagne stacks. Claire walks through the back corridor and spots a security station with a board guard scrolling on his phone. She stops near a trash bin and drops a sealed envelope into it, on top, easy to find. Then she keeps walking. Upstairs, in a bathroom stall, she changes into a simple dress and heels she bought with cash. She looks at her reflection. Prison taught her how to make less look like enough. She steps into the ballroom with her chin lifted. The air shifts. People recognize her from the viral clip of Noah throwing the invitation into her face. Whispers ripple like wind. Noah is on stage, hand on Scarlett's waist, smiling for the cameras. Scarlett spots Claire and stiffens, then forces a brighter smile. Noah's eyes harden for a fraction of a second, then he lifts his glass. Claire Weiland. Noah says into the microphone, friendly, mocking. Our old friend. The woman who made our happiness possible. Laughter sparks in the crowd, hesitant, cruel. Claire walks forward until she is centered beneath the chandelier. She raises her own phone. Not a burner. Her real one, the one she wants the world to see. You are welcome. She says loudly. And since we are talking about what I made possible, I brought receipts. The room goes quiet. Scarlett's mouth opens, then closes. Noah's smile freezes. Claire taps her screen. Behind Noah, the giant display used for their photo montage flickers. Then it switches to a spreadsheet of bank transfers. Lines of money, dates, account names, company shells. Gasps erupt. That is fake. Scarlett hisses, grabbing Noah's arm. Claire keeps her voice calm. It is from the discovery logs you hid. She says. Every transfer that happened while I was on trial. She swipes again. A contract appears, signed by a vendor who falsified audits. Then another page, a witness statement with a payout amount in the margin. A woman near the front covers her mouth. A man mutters, "Is that the Hunter Trust?" Noah lunges toward the control booth. Too late. Claire has already sent the entire file package to 5 journalists. She knows because her phone vibrates with confirmation pings. Noah rips the microphone from the stand. Turn it off. He roars. Turn it off now. Claire looks at the crowd, not at him. She speaks with the steady clarity of someone who has decided she is done being polite. I went to prison for a crime I did not commit. She says. I did it because I was told love required sacrifice. Her gaze sweeps over the glittering room. This is what your love looks like. A woman in chains so you can wear a tuxedo and call yourself honorable. Scarlett steps forward, eyes wet, voice trembling, acting on instinct. Claire, please. She says. This is a misunderstanding. We can talk privately. Claire laughs once, short. Privately. She repeats. Like the way you talked to him privately while I was locked away. She lifts her phone again. Or like this. The screen changes to an audio transcript. A recording of Scarlett's voice, sharp, excited. She will take the fall. She would do anything for him. Let her. Noah's face drains. Scarlett's eyes widen in terror. The crowd explodes into noise. People step back as if Noah and Scarlett are contagious. Phone's record. A senator's wife hurries toward the exit. A donor whispers, "Pull our name from the program." Security rushes forward. Ethan appears at Claire's side like he timed it, suit dark, calm. He flashes a badge, not police, but legal authority, a court order to preserve evidence on site. "You cannot touch her," Ethan says. Noah points at Claire, voice cracking. "You are ruining my life," he shouts. Claire tilts her head. "You ruined it first," she says. "And I am not finished." She turns and walks out as the party collapses behind her. Outside, the night is cold and clean. Her breath fogs the air. Ethan catches up. "Media storm is live," he says. Thorn Group stock is dropping. Claire does not smile. She looks up at the hotel windows, at the light that used to mean safety. Now it is just a target. "That was the announcement," she says. "Now we hunt." The next 48 hours move like a chase through broken glass. Noah's family lawyers flood the internet with denials. Scarlett cries on a morning talk show. Thorn Group releases a statement calling Claire a bitter ex-convict seeking attention. Claire watches it all from a small rented room with cheap curtains. Ethan paces with his phone glued to his ear. He is filing motions, sending subpoenas, pushing the system to look where it refused to look before. Then, at midnight, Claire's burner phone rings. A raspy male voice speaks, barely above a whisper. "You do not know me," he says. "But I know you. I watched you get buried." Claire sits up, heart steady. "Who are you?" she asks. "Miles Denton," he says. The name hits like a door slamming open. The missing accountant. Ethan snatches the phone and puts it on speaker. "Miles," he says, careful. "Where are you?" "Not safe." Miles replies. "I was paid to disappear. Then I was threatened to stay gone." His voice shakes. "I saw your video at the party. I saw the transfers. You have proof." He swallows audibly. "And I have the rest." Claire closes her eyes for 1 second. Not relief. "Resolve. Meet us," she says. "Name a place." Miles laughs hollow. "Places are how people die," he says. "You want me, you come to me." Ethan nods. "Send coordinates," he says. "We will bring protection." Miles hesitates. "Bring her," he says. "The one who went to prison." His voice softens, unexpected. "I owe her a confession." An address arrives a minute later, a storage facility in Queens. Claire and Ethan drive there in silence, city lights streaking past. Claire's hands are steady on her knees. She has imagined Noah in handcuffs for years. Now she is close enough to feel the heat of it. At the facility, a single overhead lamp buzzes. Miles waits between rows of metal doors, hood up, face thin. He looks older than his age, like fear has been chewing on him. When he sees Claire, his eyes fill with tears. "I am sorry," he says. "I should have spoken. I should have stopped it." Claire studies him. "You were bought," she says. "Just say it." Miles nods, ashamed. "Noah paid me," he admits. "Scarlett arranged the payment through her father. They needed ledgers that pointed to you." He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a flash drive. "I copied everything before I ran. Emails, draft statements, proof of who ordered what." Ethan takes the drive carefully as if it is fragile. "This is huge," he says. Miles shakes his head. "It is bigger," he says, voice breaking. "The day you signed your plea, Noah met with the prosecutor in a private room." He looks at Claire, guilt sharp. "They promised him immunity if he helped them catch someone higher up. He gave them you instead." He swallows. "You were a trade," Claire feels something cold settle in her chest. Not heartbreak. Something heavier. Something final. Ethan's eyes narrow. A corrupt deal. He murmurs. We can blow that open. Sirens wail in the distance. Miles flinches. They are coming. He whispers. They tracked me. Ethan curses under his breath. He grabs Claire's arm. Move. He says. They run. Footsteps crash behind them. A van door slams. Men shout. Claire turns one corner too sharp and sees them, two men in dark jackets, not police, faces hard. One raises a gun, not hidden. Claire's mind goes clear. In prison, you learn to read danger in a breath. She shoves Miles behind a concrete pillar and grabs a metal pipe from a maintenance cart. The man with the gun steps forward. Give it to us. He says. The drive. Ethan steps in front of Claire. You are obstructing justice. He says. The man laughs. Justice. He repeats. Thorn money buys justice. Claire swings the pipe. It hits the man's wrist. The gun clatters to the floor. The second man lunges and Claire drives her elbow into his throat. He chokes, staggers back. Ethan kicks the gun away. Sirens grow louder. Real police this time, lights flashing at the facility gate. The two men curse and run into the dark between storage units. Miles collapses against the wall, shaking. Ethan kneels beside him. You are coming with us. He says. Protective custody now. Miles looks at Claire, eyes wide. Will she be okay? He asks. Claire picks up the pipe, sets it down, and wipes her hands on her jacket. Her voice is quiet. I was okay in prison. She says. I will be better outside. The police arrive. Ethan speaks fast, shows documents, calls a name Claire does not know. Doors open that were closed to her for 5 years. An officer looks at Claire with something like respect. As they drive away, Claire stares out the window. Noah wanted her silent. Scarlett wanted her broken. Instead, she is moving through the city with evidence in her lap and the law at her back. She whispers to the dark glass. One more cut. She says. Then the throat. The courthouse steps are packed. Camera crews angle for the best shot. Reporters shout questions at anyone who looks connected to the case. Claire walks up the stone stairs beside Ethan, shoulders squared, eyes forward. This time she is not in shackles. This time she is holding the blade. Inside, the hearing begins as a motion to reopen. By the end of the day it becomes something else. A public demolition. Noah sits at the defendant table, suit wrinkled, eyes red. Scarlett sits beside him, mascara streaked, hands twisting. They do not touch. Love does not survive when the spotlight turns hot. The judge enters. The room rises. Claire hears the scrape of chairs and thinks of the day she stood here and begged for mercy she did not deserve. Ethan speaks first. He lays out the chain of fraud, the shell companies, the false audits. He introduces Miles Denton as a witness, voice shaking but clear. Miles tells the court how he was paid to forge records, how he was threatened to vanish. Noah's lawyer objects, sweats, stumbles. The prosecutor shifts uncomfortably. The judge's eyes sharpen. Then Ethan drops the new bomb. A record of the private meeting between Noah and the prosecutor. A calendar entry. A building access log. A witness from courthouse security. The courtroom inhales as one. Mr. Thorne arranged a backroom deal. Ethan says. He traded Ms. Weiland's freedom for his own protection. Ethan turns toward Noah. And he did it while claiming he loved her. Noah stands abruptly. That is not true. He shouts. They forced me. I had no choice. Claire finally speaks. Her voice carries, low, steady, dangerous. You had a choice. She says. You just did not choose me. Scarlett breaks. She turns on Noah in front of everyone, hysteria sharp. You told me she would never get out. She screams. You said she would rot and we would be safe. Noah whips toward her. Shut up. He snarls. You planned it too. The judge pounds the gavel. Order. She snaps. Ethan watches the collapse like a surgeon. He offers the court a full evidence package. The judge orders immediate arrests for perjury and obstruction while a grand jury is convened. Bail is denied due to flight risk and witness intimidation. Noah's face goes gray. Scarlett sobs into her hands. Officers step in. Noah twists toward Claire as they cuff him. His voice cracks, desperate, ugly. "Claire, please," he says. "I was scared. I thought I was saving our future." He tries to step closer. "Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Tell them you forgive me." Claire looks at him for a long moment. She hears the prison door again. She hears the promise again. She feels the years he stole, stacked like bricks on her spine. Then she smiles, small, cold. "I forgive you," she says. Not for him. For herself. "And I still want you convicted." Noah stares, stunned. Scarlett screams as she is pulled away. Outside, the cameras swarm. A reporter shouts, "Claire, are you getting revenge?" Claire pauses at the top of the courthouse steps and looks straight into the lenses. "It is not revenge," she says. "It is the bill." She turns to Ethan. "And now we collect interest." That night, Thorn Group stock crashes. Contracts dissolve. Banks call loans. Board members resign. The empire built on lies starts to fall apart, brick by brick. Claire returns to her rented room and sits on the bed. For the first time since she stepped out of prison, she allows herself to breathe. Ethan calls her name softly. "You did it," he says. Claire shakes her head. "Not yet." She replies, "I want the people who helped them. The ones who smiled while I was sentenced." She looks at the city lights through the cheap window. "And I want my life back." The final trial is shorter than anyone expects. Once the first lie is exposed, the rest unravel quickly. Miles testifies again. New witnesses step forward, emboldened by the public fury. Internal emails surface showing executives laughing about how easy it was to frame a loyal girlfriend. Noah and Scarlett try to bargain. They offer money. They offer apologies. They offer each other as scapegoats. The jury does not care. The verdict comes down on a bright morning. Guilty on fraud. Guilty on conspiracy. Guilty on coercion. Guilty on obstruction. Noah collapses in his chair. Scarlett wails until a marshal tells her to be quiet. The judge sentences them both to 7 years, with additional charges pending. It is not 5 years. But it is enough to mark them, enough to cage them, enough to make them feel time as a punishment instead of a privilege. After court, Claire stands outside and lets the sun warm her face. She has forgotten what sun feels like without a fence nearby. Ethan joins her. He hands her a sealed envelope. "Compensation from the state," he says. "And a formal apology." He hesitates. "It will not fix what was taken." Claire holds the envelope but does not open it. "I do not want their apology," she says. "I want to use their guilt." Weeks pass. The Hunter Family Trust loses key holdings under investigation. Thorn Group is forced into restructuring. Claire does not buy the company with a dramatic bid. She does something quieter, sharper. She files civil claims, collects settlements, and partners with ethical investors to carve out the pieces that matter. She does it legally. She does it publicly. She does it in a way that makes it impossible to call her a criminal again. Her mother calls one evening, voice thin with regret. "Claire," she says. "I was wrong." Claire closes her eyes. She thinks of letters returned unopened. She thinks of silence that hurt more than fists. "I know," she says. Then she adds, gently, "Come meet me. We can start over." She enrolls in night classes, finishing the degree she lost. She sits in the front row, takes notes, asks questions, refuses to shrink. Students whisper about the woman who beat a billionaire heir in court. She ignores them and keeps learning. She starts a foundation for wrongful conviction defense, using her settlement money and Ethan's connections. The first case they take is a young man sentenced on shaky eyewitness testimony. Claire reads his file and feels that familiar cold settle into her bones. Not rage this time. Purpose. At the foundation opening, Ethan stands beside her on a small stage. A photographer asks if they are partners. Ethan glances at Claire. He does not speak for her. He waits. Claire takes the microphone. "We are allies," she says. "We are proof that systems can be challenged." She pauses. "And we are not done." Later, Claire visits the prison once, not for Noah. Not for Scarlett. For herself. She stands at the gate and watches inmates file into a yard, faces blank, shoulders tense. A guard recognizes her and looks away, uncomfortable. Claire turns and walks back to her car. The gate buzzes behind her. The sound used to mean endings. Now it means distance. At a stoplight, she sees a billboard advertising the Thorn Hotel. The sign looks smaller than she remembers. Power is an illusion when you know how it is made. Her phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. "Noah." It is a single line. "Please. I cannot survive in here." Claire stares at the screen. Her thumb hovers. Then she deletes the message without replying. She drives forward as the light turns green. In the rearview mirror, the city stretches behind her, loud and alive. Ahead, the road is open. Claire speaks aloud, only to herself, voice steady. "5 years of darkness taught me how to see," she says. "Now I choose what I build." She inhales deep. "And no one ever cages me again."
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.